Hello, welcome to the Franchise Marketing Show, and I'm Mark. I'm joined today by Ben. This is a change. We've not done this before.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, me and Ben already have a photography podcast, and today we are going to talk about photography in franchising, which we've not spoken about before. So we work together quite a lot. I do a lot of video, you do a lot of photography.
Yeah.
And what I think is really useful is always to bring a photographer along to video shoots, because then photographers can get a lot of still imagery for people to use like for a long period of time. So it's not just headshots, it's like other stuff that's going on. So we've done a lot of stuff together within franchising and outside of franchising as well. One of the big ones that I think about is Movianto. So this is a company that distributed the COVID vaccine, and I'd been working for them for a few years, and then they were doing their website. So you came along to a number of shoots at a number of different sites. Yeah. So basically anything I was doing video-wise, you would get still images of that as well. Yeah. So we built up a huge library of stuff.
Yeah, massive.
From like 4 or 5 trips.
Yeah.
And I think that works well in franchising as well. So we've done, for example, fast signs, where we've gone to a number of franchisees and they sort of showcase their best work. So they'll show like really good signage projects they've had.
Yeah, and their offices and stuff as well.
Yeah. So it's a really good opportunity to get photos of their work, photos of them, photos of their offices, and also video of all that stuff as well.
Yeah.
So where do you think like photography is most powerful in those respects?
I mean, I guess it depends on the business really, doesn't it? But I think like premises, you know, obviously where the business is, if it's like a shop front kind of thing, or like customer facing, they're probably going to be like the most important. But then, you know, from like the franchise recruitment side of it, if you're trying to recruit more franchisees, you need a lot of stuff of the people who are actually own the businesses, you know. Smiley franchisees is what we always say. That seems to be what draws people into certain franchises. The more franchisees you can get in pictures smiling, like the more interest you have in your franchise, basically. That's what we find.
Yeah, like with video wise, it's good to get a range of franchisees because they like to show a range of accents. Okay. So like you wouldn't just have like people from the south, you'd have people from like Liverpool, Manchester, Midlands, Scotland even as well, Wales. So you can show like we're not just like this local franchise, we are UK wide. And then it's a good way of showing that. So
I think it can be the same for pictures as well. I mean, with like testimonials and things, you obviously want multiple franchisees. So like things like franchise conferences are good places to get pictures of, you know, either all the franchisees together or individual franchisees that are going to do a testimonial for you or something like that. But I mean, these are things you don't necessarily need to like hire a photographer for. Like, you know, like a lot of people end up using stock imagery, and you know, even an iPhone photo of your business is going to be better than stock imagery. Like, do you know what I mean?
I've talked about like bad examples, and I'll ask you for some bad examples you can think of as well. But I've seen like stock imagery where they've crudely photoshopped the logo onto a t-shirt.
Yeah, I mean, why even put that effort in when you could just put the effort into getting a proper photo shoot, or even, you know, like it doesn't even have to be a proper photo shoot. Just get some better photos of your actual business, like, because the stock imagery just stands out, and it just like you just lose the legitimacy. Like real photos, you can just tell it's like a subconscious thing, and it
there's little details.
And it definitely makes the business seem more legitimate when you've got real photos all over your website. Even just like one stock image, like I feel like just instantly kind of makes it look a bit.
What do you think it is about stock imagery that makes it stand out?
I really don't know.
I think it's like too polished.
Yeah, there's
like
that.
Everyone in it is like ridiculously good looking. They're like too perfect.
Well, and it has to be able to cater for like any business, doesn't it? Really, or wherever it's going to be used. So they are just so generic.
I think a good example of
and like you were saying with the photoshopping, I mean that just sticks out. Like if you have to Photoshop your brand onto a t-shirt, like that's just going to stick out. Like,
an example I'm thinking of is if like Right at Home, who we've worked for, use stock imagery versus a real life person, like real photography. Like the real person, it would be like in their own home.
Yeah.
They would like.
Well, there's going to be a lot of cues there for like whether it's a real photo, because they will have like a uniform on,
a lanyard
or whatever. So, and even things like, you know, in the UK, pictures of in the UK look like the UK. Do you know what I mean? Whereas a lot of stock imagery is going to be American. Yeah. So that's going to stand out.
I'll put a photo of some of your imagery from Right at Home.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to Google like elderly care stock image, and I bet it's just someone like smiling in a wheelchair, like
and
it's
like
just too ridiculous. They look pretty like they got grey hair or that like whatever.
Like I mean, in our experience of like doing those types of shoots, you can't like get people to like pose like that. You know, like real people who are actually having care. Like, do you know what I mean?
You just get what's real.
You get what happens. Yeah. So like you get people smiling, obviously, but like it's not. You're not saying like, oh, can you look over there and do a really cheesy grin?
So Right at Home would do like a range of care. Like we saw like just elderly care where it's just like someone just comes in and has a chat with them. Yeah. Right up until like they are being like really cared for like 24/7.
Yeah.
And they need to be like fed and like and everything like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So to get that real stuff, does show like this is the extent of what we do. Like we do from just popping in and saying hello and having a cup of tea right to proper like round the clock care for someone.
And like for people with disabilities, like there's not going to be as many pictures of that for like stock imagery, so you are going to then end up in a point where you might not be able to get a photo of you know what you do. So
like we did peg feeding at Right at Home.
Oh yeah.
So like you would not get that on stock imagery, I don't think, because it'd be everyone too smiley faces.
Yeah, and I don't know if they would. It's too specific, isn't it? Yeah, I think when that's when I think a proper shoot is important. Is when you're trying to show like quite a specific thing. Yeah. Because like I said, stock imagery needs to be generic to cater for like loads of different businesses, and so it's going to be harder to find stuff like that. And then it's like, well, why not just do everything? Like, you know what I mean? Because like I said, as soon as your website has like some stock imagery and some real images, it just like, I don't know.
But I think like with my own website as well, like if I put stock images up, and then people kind of expect to see me. Yeah. So like if it's just stock images of some random people, it's going to look so weird.
Yeah, I suppose if you are the only person in the business, then that
but like
would be weird.
Bring it back to franchising as well. Like if it's like a franchisor, they want to be seen as the face of it.
Yeah, yeah.
So like
because you probably will
from Tesla, people know him.
You probably would meet with them if you were buying a franchise.
Yeah, or you're the reason they buy it.
Yeah.
So like they want to get to know you.
Yeah,
so
totally.
There needs to be videos, photos of you. Yeah. Throughout everything you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not going to work for stock imagery at all, is it?
Yeah, and it just it will make people feel more comfortable in that process if they've subconsciously already seen like 10 photos of you on your landing page or on your website. You know, when they finally come to meet you, they'll be like, "Oh, I've already seen you like a number of times online or in brochures or whatever." So,
if someone was going to take photos themselves on their iPhone, is there anything you can say like what can you like give them some tips of what they can do to make it look reasonably good?
Just frame it, right? So like just frame it so you've got what you want to show in it. You know, it doesn't need to be like a work of art. You know, especially if it's just like social media content. I think that's when like user generated content is really good, is on social media. And if that's where it's going, like it's fine to just be on a phone, and like just frame what you want to show, and if there's a person in it, make sure they're smiling, basically. Like, you know, like that's always going to draw more people in.
How are you feeling about like AI and photo generation and stuff, and how do you think that will affect franchises going forward?
I think it will affect social media, like going forward.
It is really.
It's like so good, isn't it? So there will be a point where you won't be able to tell. So, but I think again, it's kind of like stock imagery, isn't it? Because I don't know if you're going to get specific enough. If you need shots of something really specific, I don't think it's going to be able to get it right.
But I think you could.
Like going back to like Right Home, like peg feeding.
Yeah.
Like, are you going to be able to get AI to generate that?
I'm not sure, but I think you could get, if like, go back to Ryan. Hi, Ryan.
Teslon.
So if he put like loads of pictures of him into an AI thing and then said, make a photo of me with a franchisee, it could probably generate that.
Yeah, potentially, yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Now it could generate that, and I think in a few years you wouldn't be able to tell.
Nah.
That's going to be so bad when you're like... Because right now I think I could tell.
Yeah.
And sometimes. I reckon... Yeah, I think I could tell probably a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But I think certain people wouldn't be able to tell now for some images.
No. But the problem is...
I'd love to do this as a video.
If people can tell, like, that's well off-putting. Like, I think people will not like that.
Yeah.
So I guess at the moment there's a risk of doing it and it being too obvious. So.
It's like if you're watching a film and there's like bad CGI, it just takes you out of the story.
Yeah, definitely.
So
less immersive.
That would take you out of reality if it's like clearly bullshit.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and this goes back to the legitimacy, doesn't it? Like, yeah, stock imagery does the same thing. It just doesn't make it. It doesn't feel as real. Like, if you went onto a website and all the photos are AI, like, you're going to be like, is this even real?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like that Wonka
some
experience.
sort of scam.
Yeah. The Willy Wonka experience.
Oh, yeah. Like, that's a good example.
Yeah. I can't believe people are fooled by that.
Yeah.
Cool. That'd do, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't really know what else to say about
yeah, if you've got...
Franchise. It's a pretty specific thing, isn't it? But
if you've got anything you'd like us to discuss photography-wise, put it in the comments and we can come back. We do this every week anyway.
Yeah, we can do another one.
If you want to watch our
YouTube
YouTube
won't get
channel...
any comments, though, will it?
Well... If you want to watch our YouTube channel, I'll put the link in the comments.
Much more interesting.
The Full Frame Podcast. Yeah. You'll see us at most franchise events.
Yeah.
We might take a photo of you.